Good morning, children. Welcome to the weekly English online lesson. Today, without any more introduction, let me introduce you to a prose lesson in your English textbook, The Beehive. The first lesson in your textbook, The Fun They Had. It's a futuristic story. What do I mean when I talk about a futuristic story? A story which is set at least 100 years from now. The story starts, the two characters, Margie and Tommy. Margie, a 11-year-old girl, and Tommy, 13 years. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary on the page headed 17th March 2157. Note the date, children, many years from now. Today, Tommy found a real book. The story starts with these two children getting excited over an old book which they discovered in their attic among some very old items placed. So Tommy recalls about that book. Both of them are indeed surprised. They go through the book. The book looked yellow, old, and the pages were crinkly. You must have seen old books in your school library. So these children who lived from 100 years from now, they were not used to these type of printed books which you people are familiar now. They were used to telebooks or e-books as they are called. I need not tell you the difference between a printed book where the words are printed and they don't move. But when you watch things on a screen, on a telescreen, on a computer or an internet, sometimes the print moves. And the two children were so amazed, they were fascinated by these books. And now when we go through the content of the lesson, these two children, Margie and Tom, they were having online lessons at home. Now I think this is the best time for you to think of such schools when all your lessons are delivered online through some other medium where you are not able to talk to us directly. Now here these two children, they had their school in their home itself. And the girl Margie, she hated her mechanical teacher. Children, just imagine for a few moments how schooling would be 100 years from now. You would have robotic teachers. You would be learning only through the medium of the internet and the computer. Your exams would be different. Your assignments would be different. And this girl, Margie, she recalls her experience. Now they both are amazed. They have a discussion about that book which they had discovered, an old piece. So they recalled saying that their grandfather had spoken about a time when children had books of this sort. So both of them look at the book and they mock. They feel that that book would be thrown away, and they compare it to their television screens or their monitors where they could save hundreds of books without throwing them away. Then the scene changes and Margie has to attend her geography lesson. There is a reference to her geography lesson. Her geography teacher, the mechanical teacher. She hates geography lessons because in spite of taking many tests, her performance was degrading. She was not showing any improvement. Her mom was worried and they called the county inspector. The county inspector is around a technician sort of person who comes with its tool to set the mechanical device right. So just imagine, even now we are into online teaching. So if something goes wrong with the device, you can't take your lesson. So the inspector gives her an apple and he tries to repair the system, and in a few minutes the system was all right. But little Maggie was very disappointed because she hated taking those lessons. Children, compare your present system of education where you don't have such a hatred or an aversion to your classes because you have live human teachers with you. So they both have a discussion about the teachers and the schools 100 years back. of their grandparents' time. Tommy said that those children had real teachers. Here I would like to introduce the word real classroom and a virtual classroom. A real classroom is one where you have a human teacher teaching you directly. You can ask her question, and a virtual one would be a sort of class like this where you get to see things through a screen. There is a lot of technology being harnessed in a virtual classroom. So they were amazed. They have a discussion about the earlier school where children used to go to another building and they had friends of their same age. Now Tommy and Margie had a school which was a room close to their bedroom. Their robotic teacher would be present and very mechanically he would flash things on the ugly black screen. And thinking about the tests and the assignments, they had to insert it into a slot with punch marks and the results would be shown then and there. So here goes on a discussion. Their thoughts race back to the school of the olden days when real teachers, real human beings. Then there is a discussion between Tommy and Margie. Maggie has a doubt. Will a real human being be as intelligent as their mechanical teacher? So Tommy says it would be like their father, and their father was quite intelligent. So towards the end of the story, they're called back to their mechanical classroom or their mechanical school where the robotic teacher is present in the next room. The girl goes back to her mechanical class. She's not interested in those classes. Her thoughts are still in the world of those days, the fun they had. She imagined what fun it would be for those children to interact with other children of their same age, to have a real human teacher teaching them. There ends the lesson. I have given you a very brief summary of the lesson, and I think this is the right time to start this lesson because most of you have access to online lessons now where you get things through a mechanical device. Though I am present here, I think my presence in the classroom would be an entirely different one. A human teacher has her own emotions, unlike the robotic teacher. Children, make a reading of the story. It's a wonderful story and the writer is Isaac Asimov. Hope you have enjoyed. The assignments will follow. Signing off.